Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This is a bit of an experiment, really, with the software that captures the screen. And the idea is to have a look at the Nest cams that I'm following because people have shown quite an interest. And I thought the easiest way is to show them and have a little chat about each one. They're not going to all be of interest to everybody. Some of them may not be of any interest to anybody, but we'll have a go through and see how it goes. Right, where are we then? So this is the first one. Now, this is a website, not a YouTube channel, so it behaves slightly differently. This one's sort of interesting to watch. When you get to this site, all the links will be in the description. You have to click on it to activate it and make it current. This is a peregrine falcon man-made nest in the clock tower at Bournemouth University, so it's a confined space. She laid 4 eggs, hatched 3 chicks. The other egg has been removed now by human interference, which took the site down all day yesterday because the chicks needed to be rung. So they've had their colour rings attached for future identifications so that they can be followed around and see where they turn up. The chicks are getting quite large now. They're showing signs of feathers on the end of their wings. The parents, male and female, visit now and again with food and feed them and then disappear again. But the chicks are now starting to get out of the nest box and wander around. So sometimes you come here and there's nothing to see because the chicks have gone walkabout. And then they seem to come back and manage to struggle to get back in. There's only 2 in there at the moment, so one's gone for a walk. Right, that's that one. And then the other peregrine site I'm watching is on Winchester Cathedral. Again, this is not a YouTube channel, so you have to click to activate. This is rare because she laid 5 eggs, which is rare for a peregrine, and she's hatched all 5 of them and they are successfully feeding. So the chances are she will rear 5 young. This is on a parapet high on the cathedral. Again, it's a confined space, so they can't fall off a ledge or anything like that until they get big enough to jump up on that parapet, which is where the parents appear. When you're watching this one, it pays to look out there because one of the parents, or sometimes both, are often sitting up here quietly away from the nest box. There's a second camera here, but the quality is flipping awful. So I don't bother with that one. But it looks in the other direction. This is the good one, the first one. So that's the 2 peregrine sites. And then we get on to the osprey sites. Now again, this is a YouTube channel, but it's embedded in a website, so it handles slightly differently. Again, you have to click it to get it going, make it live. The camera quality here is absolutely brilliant, but it's fixed. I don't think there's any remote control on it. And given how remote the nest site is, I'm surprised they managed to get a camera working. But this is an interesting site. The eggs aren't going to hatch here for a while, I don't think. I think they were laid a bit later than the others. And often the other bird will be sitting in this tree over here on the end of that branch there. When they're not both together. But this is an interesting website. These are a very interesting read. You know, there's a lot in there to read. But the chat is down here, far enough away that you can't see the picture that you're chatting about, which is a bit of a nuisance. But the actual place to put the comments and everything is down below. But the moderators and everything do actually load other videos with links to videos they've made from the live stream. So you get other separate YouTube videos to watch, links to. So it's not bad from that point of view. But up in the wilds of Scotland, this one, literally in the middle of nowhere. So that's that one. Right, where are we now? Now this site, a huge flurry of activity yesterday because the first chick hatched. That's the first time I've ever seen a bird of prey chick come out of the egg. So a bit fascinating. But this has an annoying buzz in the background. There's an electronic box of some description on the pole behind the nest site, and it has good days and bad days On a good day, the sound is quiet, but it's there. On a bad day, it's flipping intrusive, and you end up turning your sound right off, which means you can't hear the birds calling or anything like that. But, this one has remote control camera control, and depending on who's on it, it varies from not much going on at all like now. The other bird has just landed on the perch and the camera hasn't moved. But when one of the moderators is supporting the channel that's good on the camera work on this channel is brilliant. They will often pan around the scenery, they zoom in on things in the distance, change the viewpoint frequently. So this one's interesting. As I said, this one now has the first chick hatched yesterday. The second egg has a crack in it, so that chick is probably going to hatch today. So that's that one. That's a standard YouTube channel with the chat down here. Be aware that when you've got a permanent live feed like this one is, there we go, the camera. As I said, it depends who's on control, but they have quite good mobility. That's the male sitting up there. Fishless. Oh no, he's got a fish. Has he got a fish? Yes, he's got a fish. Oh, good on him. Looks like a flounder. Yeah, the camera work here is quite good. They will change the viewpoint quite frequently, and reasonable quality on the camera, so it's not a bad one to watch. And there's stuff going on this one from now on because the chicks are hatching. So that's that one. It's just a pity about that noise in the background, but you can turn the sound off. And then the next one is the one that I sent you all off to support yesterday, so some of you will have already seen this one. Again, it depends who's on the camera. Sometimes the camera will stay in a fixed position for a very long time. Obviously there's shift changes going on in the background with the moderators and everything. Well, I'll let you know as well. Thanks for everybody who came over to this site and actually, bumped up their likes from less than 600 to what it is now. I suspect most of that was us. Up to 823 now. But what was also interesting was their subscribers went up from 5.71 to 5.82, and I think a lot of that was us as well. And I got a personal thank you in my email from the vice chair of the charity that actually supports this site. So words got around that you good people had come over here to give the site a bit of support. So that was good. And a couple of the people from here came across and had a look at my channel, left some comments. That was very nice. That was unexpected. So it depends on who's on the camera what happens here. This site here tends to get quite a few intruders. There was one arrived yesterday, and they come in. They're normally young birds returning from their migration, and they're attracted to a nest platform. It's a natural instinctive behaviour. But the current owners of the nest can get quite ratty. You get quite a flurry now and again with an intruder, depending on whether it's a male or a female, and it depends on whether both parents are present. Now, yesterday the intruder came and the female was on the nest and got quite irate but couldn't leave the eggs unprotected, and the male was nowhere to be seen to chase it off. But again, if you go to the website, just click on the website name, like you do on any YouTube channel. You can then click on videos, and they produce videos from the live stream quite frequently. So you get ones like this. I won't click on them. You can do it yourselves. But this one is right next to a railway line, this site. So you do get the railway, the trains going past every now and again. And also you get the workmen on the line, and that upsets the birds. They both vacate the premises. They've got a special alarm for when humans are around. And occasionally the camera will call that wind noise is loud. Let me just turn that down. I don't think I can. It's on the video stream. That is the wind. These are the Welsh hills after all. Snowdon is just up the road. Highest mountain in Wales and all that. But when the camera panned round the other day and showed a panoramic view of the whole scene, a 360 view, there's a station not that far, in full view on that line, which would be off to the left if the camera could pan round. So that's that one. And then the last one is the sad story. This is my local one. All quiet here at the moment. This has got the other sites. The birds have got names. So the male and the female have got their own names. That will be in the description. You can read up on that, and they are referred to. My local site, the Poole Harbour Nest site, has no breeding pair this year. It's quite sad because the female bonded with the male during the latter part of last year. They both went off on their migrations. She's come back and the male hasn't turned up. But there have been a few visitors, but no visiting males have turned up yet. So she laid 3 unfertilised eggs, one of which got broke and the other 2 are buried in the nest somewhere now. So they're gone. They wouldn't have hatched anyway. But this bird is a very attractive bird, but you're getting fooled a little bit on the coloration. This camera is washed. If you look at the coloration going on here, these bushes here are gorse. They're not that colour. That's a birch tree. It's not that colour. So the colours are washed out here. Let me just have a look at the notes here. So the bird here is called CJ7. That's her ring code, blue CJ7. And this site have decided to refer to the birds by their scientific name, effectively, their registered ring name. So our local bird is CJ7. Now, it's currently 7:27. It says that CJ7 off at 7:10. I wonder if that's off the nest. Again, I'll show you the controls. You can grab hold of this, and on this one, the date and time are in the bottom left-hand corner. 7:13. It says 7:10. Go back a bit more. Oh, there she is. Very attractive bird. But on her own. And, she spends time on the nest sometimes, gives it a little tidy. But it's a bit sad, really. She's got no mate. But they are hoping that the one she bonded with, which is referred to as Blue LS7, didn't get back last year until, I think it's something like the 12th of June. So even though he hasn't turned up yet, and it's far too late to breed this year, he may well still turn up. And the pair bonded last year. But this one spends quite a bit of time on the nest, the camera pole, which is off to the right and back a bit behind the nest. And although you can hear when she's on it, scrabbling around, this is a fixed camera. There's no camera control here, so it's a fixed view. But earlier in the morning and sometimes in the evening, this area here has got a lot of deer wandering around, feeding on the heather and that. And that's quite nice to watch. Although it's not crystal clear, you can see them. And in amongst them is a white deer, which is very unusual. And that one's there most days in some shape or form. It's odd because you've got a fence runs along here and then another one along here, which makes this area here look like it's completely enclosed. One of these bits along here has got no wire on it. So there's a hole between the two areas because there were lots of deer in here one morning and I went out to get a coffee or something probably, and when I came back they were all in there. And I thought, I missed them jump the fence. No, they just went through a hole in the fence. Anyway, this is my local osprey, CJ7, and she looks a lot paler than the ospreys on the other webcams, and that's the camera. The settings on the camera are pale, hence the coloration of the... but she's a beautiful bird, and I'm glad we've managed to come here while she's actually here. She flew off, according to the text, at 7:10. Now let's show you the controls, right? J goes back 10 seconds at a time. You see a little bit in the center of the screen, a little circle that shows you there, 10. And L takes you forward 10 seconds, yeah? You can see the time clicking 10 seconds at a time down here. Now she disappeared soon, so I can now switch to my right arrow and go 5 seconds. I'd like to see her fly off and see if she does a nice spectacular takeoff. It says 7:10 in the text, so we're on 7:10 now. Any minute now, there she goes. Right. Now, this is the problem with this site. She might not come back all day. So this is sometimes there's nothing going on this nest for hours and hours and hours at a time. She goes off and fishes elsewhere, and very, very, very rarely brings the fish back to the nest, like the ones that have got eggs or chicks. That's my local one, and it's the nest platform has been built on a private piece of land, so it's not the public have no right of access anywhere near this nest, basically, which means it says down here, even if you do know where this nest site is, please don't put it on social media. So process of elimination, I know where this is. I could go there in my car, park the car, and find it relatively easily. The main thing is that it's the view. If you look off to the right to where you get a skyline up here, you've got conifer, mainly forest, heading off right into the distance. That's a substantial area we're looking at now. And around Poole Harbour, there are only 2 areas with a substantial forest of this size. Yeah? So I know roughly where it is. And also, you'd be pleased, on the road to get to this area, there are marsh helleborines, one of our rather attractive native orchids that I've still yet to see. So I could justify a trip out here. But given that there are no pictures published, photos I mean, or anything like that of this nest site, I do believe it is genuinely inaccessible. You can't get there. As I said, it is private land, it's on a private estate. But we've got a webcam, albeit a fixed camera view. So that's that one. So those are they. The links will be in the description. And whether you choose to watch any of these on and off, quite honestly, with me, I tend to leave one of them on the screen while I'm getting on with other stuff. I can see the computer screen from when I'm watering plants. And you just raise your eyes every now and again and see if there's anything interesting going on. And just let it run, basically. But be warned that on all of these type of YouTube live feeds, where it's a permanent live feed, let me just refresh that because we actually scrolled it back, didn't we? So that's back live again. The live chat, which is quite interactive, there's usually somebody from representing the YouTube channel and the organisation behind it. This is Birds of Poole Harbour doing this site. They do interact, they will answer questions and all that sort of thing. And they do talk about the other sites. Yesterday when that chick was hatching, there were comments on all of the sites, telling people that it was going on to go over there and have a look and all that sort of thing. But do be aware that the chat disappears completely every now and again. It's refreshed and it starts again. So you may well have put comments on there, but they're gone. It's not like on our YouTube channels with the comments stay there underneath the video. Because this is a permanent live feed, every now and again the chat is just wiped and it starts again. So references and things like that were interesting from a while back, I just lost. So you can see I put a comment in a bit earlier there. Mine stands out a bit because I've got an active channel. I think that's why it looks like that, because the other people's don't. Anyway, so that's those. The links will be in the description in the order I've shown these. You can choose to do with this information exactly as you please. Most of the sites are being supported by donations. Yeah, and without those, the webcams and everything will disappear. And if you look at the effort that went into getting the Scottish site up and running, by watching that. When I scrolled down, there were 3 videos. Let's go and get it. Talk about it. Go and do it. So this on the Scottish site. Let's see. You have to click to activate that. This one here is well worth a look at. That opens up into a separate set, and it's all about how they set this up. You know, from doing the Nest platform, little video clips with people about the film crew. It's a really interesting read, and that's where they got their power from. There is no power. You know, they're in the middle of the Scottish Highlands. You can see in the background the snow on the hills. Yeah? They're miles away from anywhere. They had to build a transmitter, you know, a sort of line of sight transmitter. Again, that'll be solar powered. So yeah, it's quite an interesting read, that lot. But you know, there's a lot there. You know, just in that one section. So there's a lot to see if you're interested. You know, in that sort of thing. So there we go then. Back to my local one. As I say, I usually let it just sit there. Because it's doing no harm. The computer's normally on anyway because I'm doing something or other, or updating my notes or whatever. So it tends to just sit there. And I'll see you next time. You know, work out how to stop this thing. Right. Stop recording. That's probably the best thing. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.